Today's documentary, Helike, the city that returned from myth. The sea rose in the dark. It did not merely surge. It became a wall, a fist of salt water and chaos, hurled against the shore by the convulsing earth. And before that wall, on a winter night in 373 BCE, the city of Helike ceased to be. Not sacked, not abandoned, but erased. Its grand temples, its bustling agora, its very streets and walls and homes were swallowed whole by the Gulf of Corinth. By dawn, nothing remained but a brackish lake and silence. The people were gone, their vibrant society snuffed out in a single cataclysmic hour. A city devoted to Poseidon, god of the sea and earthquakes, utterly destroyed by the very forces he commanded. It was an act of such terrifying, poetic destruction that for centuries, historians wondered, did Helike ever exist at all, or was it merely a cautionary myth? This is the story of a city that vanished from history, only to resurface from myth 2 millennia later. It is a detective story written in silt and pottery shards. Our journey begins not with a map, but with a story. The Greek writer Pausanias, traveling the region 5 centuries after the disaster, recorded the haunting local lore. He wrote of how, 5 days before the catastrophe, all the animals and vermin of Helike, dogs, mice, snakes, fled the city, heading for the hills. An omen ignored. Then, on that fateful night, a massive earthquake struck. The soil liquefied. The city sank. Then, from the churning gulf, a gigantic wave rushed in, drowning every last soul who remained. For days afterward, Pausanias tells us, the bronze statue of Poseidon, his trident raised, could be seen gleaming eerily beneath the water, a macabre grave marker. This vivid account became the primary text, the ghostly fingerprint of a lost world. But where was the body? Where was the proof? For over 2,000 years, Helike was the Atlantis of Greece, a compelling legend, a moral fable, but to the rational modern mind, perhaps just a story. That skepticism began to crack in the late 19th century, not with a shovel, but with the ambition of a man already famous for finding lost cities. Heinrich Schliemann, the discoverer of Troy, was captivated by the tale of Helike. He believed it was real, and he believed he knew where it lay, under the waters of the Gulf. In 1883, he obtained a government permit and dredged the seafloor near the modern village of Rizamalos. His workers hauled up mud, rocks, and frustration. No grand walls, no bronze trident. The expedition was a costly failure. Schliemann walked away, and with him, the scientific world's fleeting interest. The verdict seemed clear. Helike was a myth, its location a mystery forever claimed by the sea. The setback was profound. It reinforced the idea that some stories are meant to remain stories. The trail went cold for decades, the challenge seemingly insurmountable. How do you find a city that isn't just buried, but drowned? The tools of the time were insufficient, and the landscape itself had become a treacherous, shifting puzzle. Yet, the legend refused to die. It nagged at historians and adventurers. The key to unlocking the mystery arrived not from the humanities, but from the hard sciences. In the mid-20th century, the field of paleoseismology was born, the study of ancient earthquakes through geological evidence. Scientists began to understand that the Gulf of Corinth is one of the most seismically active rift zones in Europe, a place where the Earth's crust is literally being torn apart. The legend of Helike was no longer just a story. It was a potential data point, a historical record of a catastrophic seismic event. This was the first major turning point, the realization that the myth was likely a garbled but accurate memory of a real, massive geological disaster. The challenge now shifted from if it happened to where and how. But the landscape had changed utterly. The furious wave that drowned Helike also began the process of burying it. Over centuries, sediments from the surrounding rivers built up, creating a vast, flat plain. The coastline moved westward. The city wasn't just underwater. It was potentially buried under meters of silt and gravel, inland from the modern shore. The search area was vast, a geological haystack hiding a single, ancient needle. Enter the woman who would dedicate her life to the needle. In the 1980s, Greek archaeologist Dora Katsopoula, armed with new geological understanding and an unshakable conviction, took up the quest. She co-founded the Helike Project, a multidisciplinary team of archaeologists, geologists, and geophysicists. Their first task was to reread the ancient sources with a geologist's eye. The Roman writer Aelian offered another crucial, gruesome detail. Years after the disaster, the city's ruins became a sea grave for fishermen. This suggested the ruins were not in deep water, but in a shallow, coastal lagoon. Katsanapola's team began a systematic survey of the coastal plain, using core drilling and ground-penetrating radar. The work was painstaking, expensive, and often disheartening. They drilled dozens of boreholes, pulling up cylindrical samples of earth. Most revealed nothing but layer upon layer of featureless sediment. The financial and logistical obstacles were immense. Each season in the field was a gamble, the tension palpable with every turn of the drill bit. Would this be the one? Or would it be another expensive sample of mud? The emotional stakes for the team, especially Katsanapola, were personal. This was her homeland's history, a national mystery she was determined to solve. The breakthrough came not with a shout, but with a whisper from the mud. In 1988, a core sample from a location near the village of Rizamalos revealed something extraordinary. Not gold or marble, but something more telling to a trained eye. A layer of marine shells and lagoon deposits, sandwiched between layers of terrestrial soil. This was the ghost of the tsunami. It was the geological signature of the sea rushing in, leaving its mark, and then being sealed over by river sediments as the coastline reformed. They had found the disaster horizon. Now they knew they were in the right area. The escalation of effort was intense. They focused their search, and in 1994, another drill bit struck not just shells, but ancient roof tiles and pottery fragments. The tension in the field camp was electric. They were close, so close they could almost taste the salt of the ancient wave. Then, in 2000, the Earth finally gave up its secret. Excavating in an olive grove, just 800 meters from the modern shoreline, their trowels scraped away the soil to reveal not just scattered artifacts, but structures. The foundations of buildings, walls, a cobblestone road. They had found not a shipwreck or a tomb, but a city. Not just any city, but a city in situ, frozen in a moment of catastrophic destruction. The emotional release was overwhelming. Katsanapola and her team were looking at Helike, not as a legend in a book, but as a tangible, tragic reality beneath their feet. But the discovery raised as many questions as it answered. The ruins were not underwater, nor were they on the coast. They were buried 3 meters deep in an inland field. How did a city sunk by the sea end up here? The excavation revealed the stark horror of that night. Coins from 373 BCE, crushed pottery still in place, the skeleton of a young man caught in the rubble, his arm raised in a final, futile gesture of protection. Helike is a stark reminder that nature's forces are indifferent to our monuments and our faith. The lost city is lost no more. It has returned from legend to warn us, a ghost from the deep past, speaking clearly across 24 centuries. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this documentary, please subscribe to our channel. We bring you fascinating documentaries on history, science, civilizations, mysteries, and the untold stories that shaped our world. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss a new release. See you in the next one.